Boom. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is May the 16th, 2024. And it's time for the morning word. It's time to shake, rattle, and hum. So let's get yourself up out of that bed. Spin around, mama. Put your feet on the floor. Go in there to the kitchen. Rattle those pots and pans. Find you a cup. Get you some coffee. Get your Bible. We're going to go to Joshua chapter 1. Joshua chapter 1 this morning. And hope you guys have had a great evening of sleep and rest. We're getting ready to, let me get it. There's Sherry and Brandy and Miller and Clarence Barger, Sharon Shirley, Brandy, again Willie. What's up, Willie? You in the lower 48? Hey Tess. Hey Kim. Good morning. Good morning. Miss Mary Joyce and Mary Swindle. Good morning to y'all. Yes, Joshua chapter 1. That's where we're going to be. And then we'll flip over. 06 isn't late today. You tell them. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Jim Mathis. What's going on? And Linda, Bill, what's happening? Good morning to y'all. Hey, Miss Faye. My neighbor, my wonderful neighbor, my sweet Miss Faye. Shay Shay. Also known as Sherry Shaw. Buddy Dawsey, good morning. Hey, Robbie. Robbie, I saw your shoulder tattoo, your new shoulder tattoo you put on Facebook. That's pretty slick, man. That's good ink. Hey, Mary Swindle. Tess, Gail, good morning. 775's in the house and 06 is in the house. Who else is here? What's up, Al? And Heather, good morning to you. Gary? Good morning. Gary Skipper. Nikki Kroll, good morning. And Ramona. Gabriel Taylor Vines. Gabriel, where are you listening to us from? Hey, Kim. 447 in the house from North Dakota. I hear you, Ron. Hey, Danny. Camellia. What's happening? Jim. Helping folks get on their feet, Pennington. Benita, come on, 7-5's not late either. Jim Allen's the 7-3. Good morning. Hey, Nanette. Nanette, what's your zip code down there? What's the last two digits on your zip code? Throw that in there on us so we can laugh. What's up, Jeff Kelly? Kim, what is it down there in Lower Alabama where you live? What's the zip code? Deb Spencer, Kay McBride, good morning. Scripty in the house, that's it. Hey, Julie, from the 1-1. Oh, I love that one. From the 1-1-1. Good morning, Kathy White. Well, good deal, Robbie. 04. Oh, snap. 04. That's only 2 zip codes away from the 06, Sharon. Moving on up. Desiree, Jeff Kelly, Tammy Mack. It's a long way from the 7-5. We still on the other side of the river. Hey, Josh Johnson. Oh, you back on the river in Pickinsville. I got you, Ron. Hey, buddy. What's going on? All right, let's get our cups up. What's up, Quig? My man, Philip Quigley. Y'all shout out to him. Oh, you in the 6-8. Oh, look at you, Kim. Ramsey in the 5-3. I like it. Man, I like it. Y'all got these zip codes rolling on. All right, here we go. Toast to the morning word crowd. God bless y'all and God bless America. Here we go. Nanette in the 4-6. Come on with it. Come on with it. 06 ain't got nothing on you, Nanette. I hear you, Miss Pat, in the 7-3. Look at Wade Hammer in the 7-6. Kelly in the 7-3. Oh, Lord. We're going to have to get... you got twin granddaughters yesterday, Kim? Good deal. Hey, Talisa. Good deal. Blessed in the 04. Yes, ma'am. You tell them. Be a blessing where you planted. All right. I hear you, Gail. Toast to the morning word crowd. God bless y'all. Shout out to all of our first responders, our military personnel, our school teachers, and also our police officers. Thank y'all so much for what you do. We are in Joshua chapter 1. Now, I picked this topic out. I know you guys are in the loop, but I just want to go over it because hopefully maybe you'll share the video and the little title will catch someone's eyes and they'll look at it and for a few moments and figure out what the deal is. the phrase that we've heard chanted all around the world and here in the United States is in the pro-Palestinian movement is from the river to the sea, Palestine shall be free. And of course, we've already gone over the fact that most of the people that are shouting that have no idea what that even means. They're just following the leader, and the leader's lost. Okay? In Joshua chapter 1, this is where that phrase comes from. Now, God had given to Abraham, when he called him out of Ur of the Chaldees, he told him he was going to give them a land. And Abraham, dwelt in the land. He came from Ur of the Chaldees, and then he stayed in Haran for a little while, and then he traveled the length and the width of the promised land that God had given to him. And you can find the promise of it in Genesis 12, the description of it, the boundaries of it in Genesis 15, and now we have it reiterated to Joshua as they're getting ready to go in to occupy, to take over the promised land from the Canaanite tribes. Okay? Now, let's look at Joshua chapter 1. Verse 1, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spoke to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now, therefore, arise, go over this Jordan. They're on the eastern side of the Jordan River. Now they're going to cross over into the promised land. Go over this Jordan, you and all this people, to the land which I am giving to them, the children of Israel. Now, if God owns the land, right? The land belongs to God, and he gives it to whomever he wishes, like everything else. God does what he wants to because he's God. There you go. And he's giving this land to the children of Israel. That's what it says. Verse 3, every place that the sole of your foot will tread upon, I have given to you. In other words, it's yours now. You just haven't taken possession of it. As I said to Moses. Here we go. Verse 4. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, okay, as far as the great river, the river Euphrates, from the river to the sea, this is where they get the word, this is where they say river. It's the river Euphrates, okay, which is in what? Iraq, all right? All the land of the Hittites and to the great sea. There's the other word, from the river to the sea. The great sea towards the going down of the sun. That means it's the sea to the west. What is the sea to the west of Israel, the promised land? It's the Mediterranean Sea. So it says, to the going down of the sun shall be your territory. From the river Euphrates in the east to the Mediterranean Sea in the west. In the other descriptions that it has, it goes from this wilderness, which is the wilderness of Paran, which is northern Saudi Arabia, over close to the border of Egypt, all the way to this Lebanon. That's where Hezbollah is now. Lebanon was considered to be in this description the northern boundary. So the eastern boundary of the promised land. Now, mind you, that Israel is only living on a sliver of that right now. They've never fully taken all of possession of all the land that God has given to them. That is in the future. If anybody has been displaced, it's Israel. Okay? So from eastern border, the river Euphrates, western border, the Mediterranean Sea, southern border, which is the northern wilderness of Paran and the northern border of what is now Saudi Arabia, and to that's the southern border. So you have Lebanon, from Lebanon to Saudi Arabia, and from Iraq, which is the river Euphrates, all the way over to the Mediterranean Sea. God gave them that land from the river to the sea. And they have only occupied a small portion of that. And so we need to understand what exactly is happening here. Now, who are the Palestinians? Well, there's a big, long history, but let me give it to you from the Bible, okay? We know that God promised Abraham a son, and through that son, the promises that God had to Abraham would be fulfilled through that son and through the heritage of that son. The promised son, we know, was Isaac. But before Isaac was born, there was Ishmael. Ishmael was the ill-gotten, meaning that wasn't gotten, that he wasn't brought about by the means of God's plan. It was Sarah and Abraham putting their heads together and figuring out, how can we have a son when Sarah can't bear children and she's too old to bear children? How can we do this? So they took an Egyptian handmaid, okay, and they had Ishmael. Now, we know that the Ishmaelites, we find in the scriptures that the Ishmaelites migrated to the south, and they began to inhabit the land which is now in the northern border of Saudi Arabia to the south of Israel. Also, now, Ishmael, because Hagar, the Egyptian handmaid, she was put out, God came to her and promised her that Ishmael would become a great prince, and he would have, there would be 12 tribes of Ishmaelites. God was going to make him great because they had a common earthly father, Abraham, a common earthly father that the Jews had that came through Isaac, that Isaac and Ishmael had a common earthly father, Abraham. And because God had his favor upon Abraham, he blessed Hagar's son, Ishmael, and he had 12 tribes, just as Isaac had Jacob, and Jacob had 12 tribes. All right. And then also, not the Arab people are not made up entirely of the Ishmaelites. We also know that portions of Esau's people migrated south, and also portions of, I can't remember the son from Keturah. You know, after Sarah died, Abraham married again, had another handmaiden, so to speak, and she had sons, and one of those sons migrated south. So 3 sons of Abraham, lineage from 3 sons of Abraham, from Isaac down through Jacob, through and Esau, the Ishmaelites from Ishmael, and then one of Keturah's sons. They all migrated south, and they became a nomadic people, which is what the word Arab means, nomadic. Okay, they became nomads, tent dwellers to the south. So Ishmaelites, some of the lineage of Esau, and some from one of the sons of Keturah, all having Abraham as either a father or a grandfather. They migrated. These became the Arabs, and God blessed them, and they live in the presence of the Jews, but God did not give them the land. The word Palestinian comes from the word Palestine, or Palestinians comes from the word Palestinia, which is the root word that we get, the English word Palestine. This was the word that was, this was the name that was given to that area, okay, by the Romans when they were occupying the land, Palestinian. And so the people that lived in that area were called Palestinians. However, they are an Arabic people. Palestine no longer exists, all right? And the Arabs all moved into different nations, okay? Through the processes of the wars that happened, the Balfour Declaration, because the last people to own the land of Palestine, own it, before the Jews became liberated, were the British. And the British divided the Promised Land into Jordan and Israel. Okay? And Jordania got the larger part. All right? And so, again, the Jews were displaced. But from that point forward, when Israel became a nation, and then we had all of the wars of liberation that Israel were given because the Arabs living in that area rebelled against that, they became refugees. And they refused to migrate into these other countries at first, and then they began to when they did begin to migrate, when they went into those countries, even today, they caused a tremendous amount of problems because they were rebellious and did everything that they could where they were located to create a rebellious faction, a terrorist faction that caused problems in the native lands. That's why the Arabs, the Arab group that self-identify as the Palestinians, they are not welcomed in any other. That's why you talking about build a wall. Look in the news at the wall that Egypt has built. Egypt's built a wall, and they dared them to come across. They will kill them dead. So Egypt doesn't want the Palestinian refugees. Saudi Arabia won't let the Palestinian refugees into it. Jordan won't let the Palestinian refugees into it. Syria won't let the Palestinian refugees into it. And Lebanon won't let the Palestinian refugees into it. So what does Israel do with a bunch of people that's been rebelling against them since the beginning? Well, they gave them a portion of land because of political pressure. Because past presidents of the United States put pressure on them to give them areas designated just for them so that they could self-govern. Thus, Israel has the Gaza Strip, which is where predominantly most of the fighting is going on right now, and it backs up to the sea, to the Mediterranean Sea. And then you have the West Bank, which is over on the West Bank. You say, well, why is it in the east of Israel? Because it's on the West Bank of the Jordan River. There's about 4 million Palestinian refugees that live there. Refugees, again, being a term meaning they were displaced by the war and they have no home. They're Arabs, and they were granted by the Jews a place to live because no one would give them the place to live because they are the red-headed stepchild of all the Arab people, and they are an angry, vicious, mad, uncontrollable, maniacal, bent with vengeance and anger and wrath and jealousy of the Jewish people, and they cause trouble everywhere they go. So there you have it. So why are they rebelling? Well, Iran is using them and the terrorist element that has arisen out of that. First, it was Yasser Arafat and the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, and out of that came the Muslim part of that welded into the Muslim Brotherhood, and now Hamas. And so Hamas is a terrorist element within the Palestinian group. Hezbollah is a terrorist group inside of Lebanon. And so you have these factions that Iran, or Iran, depending on how you want to pronounce it, they're using these proxy terrorists to fight their battles for them against Israel because Iran wants them gone. Iran wants Israel eradicated. All right. Just a little side note, Iran is Shia Muslims. The Muslim faith, the Muslim people are divided into two groups, the Shias and the Sunnis. Most all of the Middle East is Sunni Muslim. That's from the Saudi Arabian side of it, and I'm not going into all how they got into these factions, but it was dependent upon which of the family members of Muhammad they decided to follow, the Sunnis and the Shias. And the Sunnis and the Shias hate each other. Iran and Saudi Arabia hate each other. So there is a civil war within the faith of Islam between the Sunni and the Shia. But the Shia, the Iranians, are using Sunni terrorist groups to fight Iran because they don't have, we've discovered now, the wherewithal to fight, to fight Israel because they don't have the wherewithal to defeat Israel. So they're trying, it's a war of attrition, meaning that we just keep pecking on you till we finally find a place of vulnerability, and then we strike, which is what they're waiting to do. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. The Jewish people were given the land by God. Now, let me close with this. Any nation that comes against Israel in the end game, ask Germany, is going to suffer greatly. Here's what God says prophetically in his word in Joel chapter 3. For behold, in those days, and at that time, when I bring back the captives of Judah and Jerusalem, that was in 1948 when Israel reconstituted as a nation. Verse 2, this is a prophecy. I will also gather all the nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and by and large, all the nations of the world are anti-Israel, pro-Palestinian, by and large. And bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I will enter into judgment with them, that's the nations there, on account of my people, that's the Jews, my heritage, Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations. They have also divided up my land, have cast lots for my people. God said they divided my land. They're trying to, listen, what's going to come out of this? Some more fighting, some more war, a peace deal, a two-state peace deal. That's coming. The Jews have resisted it forever and forever, but the Jews are going to become war weary, and inside of the Jewish nation there is a liberal faction, just like there's a liberal faction in this country. A bunch of tree-hugging hippies and self-entitled people. They're gonna put the political pressure on Israel, and they're going to capitulate. They're going to sign a covenant and divide the land. And God said, I'm going to enter into judgment because they've divided my land and they have oppressed my people. That's what's going to happen. And the first nation that's in line to get their hat handed to them by God in judgment is the United States of America, being led. Trump was in it too. Trump was for dividing Israel into a two-state solution. Jared Kushner, his son, was spearheading that. They're going to put the pressure in the United Nations. Is going to put the pressure on Israel to divide the land. They're going to do it being war weary and then troubled by a political faction, liberal left-wing political faction in their government. They're going to sign a covenant. And God says that when you divide my land, I'm coming. And when I'm coming, I'm going to settle accounts with the nations because of my nation, Israel, my people, Israel. Don't turn your back on Israel. Pray for them. Pray for their salvation, because it's going to be hell on wheels for the people that don't. From the river to the sea, Palestine is already free, and it's free under the name of Israel because God gave it to them. We'll see tomorrow, good Lord willing, and the saints don't rise. Peace out.